Morning everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. And what I want to talk about in this video is an exercise from this book called Dare to be Happier. And what I'll do is I'll leave the link of the book this is not a I'm trying to sell the book or anything like that. I've bought this book. I think it's got some really good exercises, not just for relationships but also for self-esteem. And if you're watching for the first time, my name is Marianne Hanson. I'm the counsellor and the owner at Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. I provide counselling to couples and individuals, and my specialist areas are relationships, stress, low self-esteem, anxiety and depression. So I've used this particular exercise that I'm going to talk about with quite a few of my couples, but also for individuals if they're struggling with their relationships and they're trying to sort of work out, evaluate and review what sort of things have gone wrong and what things they can do to improve. So in this particular chapter, it's called Improve Romantic Relationships, and there are 8 questions that it asks you to consider. And then what I tend to do at the end is I then give 4 homework options. So after I've looked through these questions in depth with couples that I work with or with individuals, I then give them an option of which activity or homework they want to do to try to improve things. So I'm going to also put the questions in the description so you have them if you don't get a chance to buy the book. So the first one asks people to look at what patterns in your relationship do you see repeating from your parents' relationship. So this is a really important question, and when I've asked this with the couples I've worked with, it's given them a time to think about, are some of the behaviours that they're doing with their partner as a result of what they've seen from their parents' relationship. So an example is if you've grown up in a household where your parents you don't see them being affectionate towards each other, there's no loving or kind words, it's very much lots of put downs, lots of verbal abuse. You might have experienced or witnessed domestic violence. You may have seen a traditional relationship where one person controls everything and the other just does what they're told. There's lots of different things. Now, you might have been observing that as a child and not been aware that that's what you then model your relationship on, because that's what you see as being a productive relationship. But you may then review it and think, no, that wasn't actually healthy. Looking back on it, I was a child and I was seeing things that I shouldn't have seen between my parents, but now I'm repeating that pattern. So it's a really good question that can help people to dive into that. The second one is, what vows or promises did you make to each other that could be worth revisiting? Are there things that you said when you either got married? Are there things you said on your first date? Are there things that you've promised your partner? So maybe you met someone who's been in an abusive relationship, or someone who was cheated on, and they told you that, and your promise might have been, I'll never cheat on you. And then maybe later on in the relationship you have done that. It's not about beating yourself up or saying, you can't go back to the past and redo it, but you can revisit it. You can say, well, when I made that promise, I believed in what I was saying and I committed to it. So from this point on, that's what I'm going to do again. And also acknowledging that you've broken a promise that you made, but also recognising that everyone's human as well. It doesn't mean that at the beginning of a relationship you're never going to mess up in some way, but it's acknowledging it, admitting it, learning from it, moving forward. So the third one is, where are the areas in your relationship where you might be inconsiderate? This is reflecting on yourself, your own behaviour. Are there times where you make promises that you're going to return home after work to help your partner with something, but then you end up going to the gym or doing whatever because you're thinking to yourself, this is more important for me? Are there times where maybe you know that you're in a bad mood and you've snapped at your partner, and that's because you haven't addressed what is causing you to feel stressed? Are you inconsiderate in other ways, forgetting birthdays, forgetting special occasions, not helping out around the house? This is where really it's looking within yourself and being honest. Could I be more considerate? Could I be a better partner? Now, I think as a person, you can do this as an individual as well. What am I doing that I could improve on? Are there ways I could interact with people differently? Are there ways I could contribute to give to charity? Could I do this? Could I do that? I think it's something everyone should do anyway. You should just reflect and see if you can improve on certain behaviours. It's not criticising yourself, it's just reviewing things. The fourth one is, what does romantic love look like to you? Describe it. Tell your partner what you need from them romantically. Ask yourself what it is that you need. Everyone's definition of romance is different. I personally am not someone that, I don't mind if someone gives me flowers or chocolates, you know, the usual things that people just assume. But I could live without having any flowers. That's not going to be, to me, it's not necessarily romantic. But what would be romantic, I've said this before, if I'm in a stuck situation, so example, if my car breaks down or if I need a specific item that I've always been saying I need, and the person, you know, comes and rescues me, or the person buys me that item that I've always been asking for, because then that's personal, and I think that's romantic. Or even just meeting someone after work when they're not expecting you, or surprise. Everyone's romance is different, so that's why it's really important that you talk to each other. Don't assume that just because everyone else is receiving bunches of flowers on Valentine's Day, that's what your partner wants. They might not see it in the same way. The other fifth one is there baggage from your previous relationships? This is something for you to discuss with your partner. This is something for you to consider. Is the baggage from your previous relationship impacting on your current relationship? Number 6, what do you want more of in your relationship? Do you want more intimacy? Do you want more heart-to-heart discussions? Do you want more fun? Do you want more activities that you do together? This is another one that is personal to each relationship, because every relationship is unique. And I think one of the mistakes that sometimes people make is they look at this whole thing on Instagram, couples goals, which I don't even get what it means. You know, each couple is going to have their own, and it's just based on a picture. Just because you see a picture of someone on a cliff top in a nice hot country and they're hugging each other, how can that be couples goals? Because, you know, at the end of the day, no one, unless you're in like someone's relationship, or you see the ups, the downs, the basic stuff, the good stuff, you don't know what a relationship looks like. So you should never really aspire to be what another couple is. You should look at your own relationship and think, what do I need more of? What do we need to do as a couple to make our relationship the best for us? Don't watch films or movies or see like celebrity couples and try and model what they're doing, because you don't know what's going on behind like closed doors. So the 7th one is, what are you grateful for in the relationship? When things are going wrong, it can be really hard to say, do you know what? Even though things are going bad at the minute, look how far we've come. You know, what has made us work up until now? What am I grateful for? You know, what is working? And I think in therapy, that's one of the good things. It's not always about just looking at the problems. When you're doing couples therapy, it's also encouraging the couples to look at what is it that is working. And then you can have momentum, because you can build on those little things that are working. The 8th thing is, what do you think? This is the final question, actually. What do you think matters to your partner? What are their dreams and ambitions? Lots of people get into relationships and then they don't spend time thinking about what it is. So example would be, if you met someone and they wanted to be, I don't know, a rapper, or they wanted to go off and be a doctor, but then they met you and things changed, and then, you know, they settled down, then you had kids, and then they went into a job that they didn't really want to do, and time passed. I think it's always good revisiting what's important to your partner, know what their passions are, and if you can, try to support and encourage them. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it's possible. You know, I've dated people who were in their like 30s, or they were at a certain age, and I was thinking they were saying they wanted to do this or do that, and maybe it's not realistic because of lots of reasons, but I'd never ever say to someone, you can't do that, or oh, that's a silly dream, put that dream away, think of, just do something practical. And I do think in some relationship it comes down to that. The person will say, you know, that's a pipe dream, or give up that dream, you know, you're not a child now, you're married, you're a father, or you're a wife, or you've got kids now, forget that. You can't crush your partner's dreams. You can still, I think a good partner will find a way to compromise and find a way for that person to achieve that dream, because dreams and goals are what if they're things that matter to us, is what gives us purpose. So if someone feels that your dream is being crushed by the person who you're supposed to love, then it can make you feel trapped in that relationship. It can make you feel disregarded. So I think, have conversations. Say to your partner, do you know what, when I met you, I remember you were writing all these like rap songs and stuff. What are you doing with them now? Or I remember you wanted to write this book. how can I help you with that? You know, do you need to go off and have a short break and write this book? Whatever fills your partner with passion, helping them talk about it is really helpful. So what I then do is I set 4 options of homework, and some of the things I set are relationship review, where someone sits down as a couple and they review their relationship. Now, some people have told me that fact seems like work, but it's not really, because you're reviewing what's going wrong, what's going right, what you can improve on. You don't have to do this weekly. Some people say that. You can do this every month, you can do this occasionally. Another option is extended cuddle time. So it's being proactive in saying, do you know what, we're going to just spend a little time cuddling on the sofa. We're going to spend a little time going to bed early, not to have sex, but to just cuddle with each other. You know, this is important for intimacy, but it's also important for bonding with your partner, just cuddles. That's one option. The other one is game of truth, where it's just like truth or dare, but you take the dare part out of it. Unless you want to, you can add that. Just where you sit down and you ask each other questions, truth questions, but you can have fun with it. You know, it doesn't have to be interrogation type thing. It's supposed to be fun. So you play things that you don't know about your partner. So you might ask them questions which you're curious about. And the 4th one is icebreaker questions, which is where you create your own game. I can't even remember completely what this was about, but because these are things that I've put together myself. I think the icebreaker questions were the ones where you act as though you're meeting the person for the first time. So it's as though you're going on a first date. You might have been married for 20 years, but you're treating it like, this is our first date. What would I say to break the ice? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? You know, there's lots of other things. I think you can either Google different couples activities. For example, there's lots of books as well that give couples activities, so it all fits in. But if you are interested in this exercise that I've spoke about, then this is the book, Dare to Be Happier. It's by Caroline Johnston. I'm going to put it in the description, and I'm also going to put the 8 questions in the description. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please feel free to share it with other people. Feel free to leave your comments, and don't forget to like and to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.